Hello my dears, welcome back to another video. So we have reached 100k. So thank you so much to everyone who's decided to join this channel. I really appreciate you subscribing to my channel and engaging in the conversations that I bring forward. So for my 100k special, I asked you if you guys would prefer to do another Q&A or if you would prefer to do an assumptions. You voted for assumptions, so I put up a post on my Instagram and asked you to submit all of your assumptions for me. So let's see what you guys think about me. I assumed your beliefs aligned with the political left. To be honest with you, people always try and assume my political beliefs. Some people think I'm centre-left, some people think I'm centre-right, some people think I'm a centrist, some people think I'm a conservative. People think I'm everything. The honest truth is, I don't identify with anything. The most I've ever said on my channel is that my views are quite moderate, or that I have quite moderate views. And I meant that literally, as in like, I don't think my views are extreme. Personally, I don't anyway. Maybe my views on hookup culture, some might argue is extreme because I'm against it. So to some people that's extreme. But aside from that, I think my views are pretty normy. Like, I don't think my views are that far-fetched. Like, if maybe for the internet, they might be a bit strange, but if you just go outside and talk to normal people in the public, I think a lot of them would kind of share similar sentiments to me on a lot of issues, because I don't think any average person is extreme in either direction. Some people have misunderstood that as me saying I identify as a moderate or I identify as a centrist, which is false. I don't identify as a moderate because I don't even know what that would mean. Like, what does it mean to identify as a moderate? I don't know what that means. I definitely don't identify as a centrist, because what does that mean exactly? Like, you're just dead in the center of everything? Is that what that means? I don't personally think it's possible for anyone to be dead in the center, because I think everybody has a combination of both views. You're going to be conservative on some topics and you're going to be liberal on others. It depends on the subject. You know, I think most people have a combination of both views. It just depends on what we're talking about. The reason why I don't identify with anything is just because I believe in order for me to be a true free thinker, I need to view myself as an individual as opposed to viewing myself as being part of a larger group. Because I've noticed that something weird happens to some people when they start identifying with one particular political group. They start losing their individuality and they start developing more of like a hive mind, where they just kind of agree with whatever their group believes. And I think the first time I noticed this was when I was watching a video on YouTube. This woman was giving a speech at a college campus, and there were people protesting outside of her speech because they were saying that she was like a fascist and a misogynist and all this stuff, right? And so she went outside to try and talk to them to find out why they were protesting her speech. And they said to her, you know, we think you're a fascist, we think you're whatever. And then when she asked them, like, okay, can you tell me what I've said that makes you think that about me? Can you quote something for me? Can you show me something? Like, what have I said that makes you think that? Lord behold, none of them could tell her why they thought that about her. They couldn't quote anything she'd said. They couldn't show anything she'd said. They just knew that they thought she was a fascist, but they couldn't tell her why they thought she was a fascist. And I feel like this is something that happens to a lot of people, where they just go with wherever their group tells them to go. They just believe whatever their group tells them to believe. They don't even know why they have these views anymore, because they don't think for themselves. This obviously doesn't happen to everyone, but just knowing that it could happen is what makes me want to just be hardcore independent in terms of my views and just being and what I believe, just viewing myself as an individual and thinking about things from an individual level. I don't associate myself with any of these political labels. I just view myself as patience. You eat beans on toast. Is that because I'm British? Is that why you've assumed that? I do when I'm feeling lazy, yeah, but only with cheese though. I wouldn't just eat it on its own. You like pineapple on pizza. I'm not a fan of pineapple on pizza, but I'm also not a pineapple on pizza hater either. Like, if you like pineapple on pizza, enjoy your pineapple on pizza. You are introverted. Here's the thing. I don't know if I'm introverted or if I'm just lazy. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, I actually enjoy socializing with people, but I can't be bothered to make plans to leave my house. You know what I mean? So it's like, am I an introvert or am I just lazy? I don't know. I think I'm a lazy ambivert. Ambivert is apparently in between an introvert and an extrovert. I'm definitely not an extrovert. Absolutely not. Because I do feel social fatigue after a period of time. But I don't think I'm fully an introvert. I think I'm like a lazy ambivert, if I'm being honest. You've never been to America or Texas, at least. The rest of the country is weird. I've never been to America, but I would be open to going to America, and I'd also be open to visiting Texas. I assume you wouldn't like to live in America. Do you know what? I'm not actually completely opposed to living in America. There are a lot of things about America that I actually really like and really respect. For example, I respect the fact that you guys have a constitution, and certain things are written in your constitution that protect things like free speech, which is a privilege that I think many of you don't realize is a privilege, because that is not something that other countries have. Like, for example, here in the UK, we don't have anything like I don't know which amendment it is, whether it's the First or Second Amendment, but the one that protects free speech. We don't have that here. So we have weird situations where people are getting arrested over memes. Very embarrassing stuff. But you see, if we had your constitution or something similar to that, that kind of stuff wouldn't happen. So that kind of stuff I really respect about America. I also find it really cool how you guys have like 50 states, but they're kind of like 50 different countries, because they have their own laws and own ways of doing things. And I find that to be pretty cool, because if you don't like the state laws, then you can move to another one. Whereas like here, you're kind of screwed, my G. Like, if you don't like it, tough. Do you know what I mean? You like to research before having an opinion on things. I do now. I never used to. I used to have a lot of beliefs that I learned later on were wrong and weren't actually based on any facts or any like provable evidence. Like, I used to be one of those people that was very much driven by my emotions, because I did used to be woke. Believe it or not, I did. I went to a very woke university, so I adopted a lot of their views and a lot of their beliefs. But then after I moved out of uni, came back home and had my African parents knock the sense back into me again, I realized that a lot of my beliefs didn't actually make any sense, and they weren't actually based on anything. So now I do research a lot of stuff before I formulate my opinions, because you can't go off your emotions, because your emotions will make you explain things incorrectly. So you have to go off of facts and not over feelings. And I used to very much go on feelings, but now I try and stay within the realm of facts as much as possible. You don't check your DMs. Listen. I do check my DMs. I just get a lot of DMs, and I'm not complaining. I think they're all very sweet, very kind. Thank you so much to the people who send me lovely messages. But you are going to have patience, because I get a ton of DMs. I am actively trying to get through as many as I can, but come on. Be reasonable. Do you know what I mean? You like tequila. I don't think I've ever had tequila. At least not that I remember anyway. I don't think so. You like cats. I don't mind cats. I do prefer dogs though. You have one body. This is the only one that I possess. I personally don't have a spare, so yes. I assume, based on absolutely no proof, you are 5'8" or shorter. I am 5'4", so you assumed correctly. You are mature, so you must be a well-organized person. I'm okay. I wouldn't say I'm the most organized person. If you're talking about like in terms of like time and stuff, like time management and handling adult life, if that's what you mean, I'm okay. I get things done, but I'm not the most organized. I do kind of thrive in chaos, to be honest with you. But yeah, I try my best. That nobody really knows what's inside your head and you won't tell them. That's false. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a very expressive person. If I'm thinking it, I'm going to say it. And the reason for that is just because I feel like if you don't express things, then they're going to eat away at you, or you're going to explode, either one or the other. And if that does happen, in my opinion, you have no one to blame but yourself, because you could have expressed yourself and dealt with it there and then. So no, I do tell people what's going on in my head. You don't play a lot, if any, video games. At least you don't seem like the type. You are correct. I don't play video games. You read often, are educated, a critical thinker, and someone often misunderstood. I don't read a lot. I buy a lot of books. But reading them, it's a different question, isn't it? I am reading a lot more now, though, because I am trying to spend less time on social media, because just for like eyesight reasons, to be honest, I just don't think it's healthy to be looking at a screen as much as I do. So I've recently just finished reading Animal Farm by George Orwell, because I kept seeing people talk about how today's modern society reminds them of Animal Farm. Like, everyone just kept saying, oh my God, this is so Orwellian. This is like Animal Farm. So I was like, what is this Animal Farm book that everyone's talking about? So I bought it and I read it and I get it now. I get it now. I would strongly recommend people read Animal Farm. It's a very, very short book. So you can get through it quite quickly. Currently, I'm reading Louise Perry's The Case Against the Sexual Revolution. Let me see if I can find it, actually. So this is a book that I'm currently reading at the moment by Louise Perry. It's called The Case Against the Sexual Revolution, A New Guide to Sex in the 21st Century by Louise Perry. So the reason why I bought that book is because I saw her have an interview on Chris Williamson, which I thought was really interesting. Because Louise Perry is a feminist and she's against like the sexual revolution and all that stuff. So I found that really fascinating because feminists are the ones who, you know, kind of push the sexual revolution. So to have a feminist be against it was quite interesting. So I wanted to kind of understand what the feminist argument would be against the sexual revolution. And so far the book has been really interesting. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're a young woman. I'd highly recommend. I feel like you cut off people who don't have your same perspective. That is false. I do have friends who have different views to me politically and who have different views to me on some cultural issues. I think as long as you are a respectful person and you are friends with people who are respectful, having disagreements is not enough to make you cut ties with people, because it's okay for you to disagree with people. You can still be friends. People used to do that all the time before the internet. You get a billion DMs. I do. And then I get called out by you guys when I don't respond to all of them. I assume you're an alien who was sent to trick me into thinking my thoughts and feelings are reasonable. Maybe I am. You have a boyfriend. Correct. I do. Your sarcasm level is over 9,000 and that you will not understand that reference. My sarcasm level is over 1,000. I am British at the end of the day, and sarcasm is our first language, followed by English. And you are correct, I don't understand that reference, but I will be Googling it after I finish recording this video. You think anime is weird. I actually love anime. I think anime is brilliant. I feel like I watched more anime growing up as a kid than I did mainstream Western cartoons, because I think anime is superior to Western cartoons, if I'm being entirely honest. I think that anime is very good at conveying good life lessons and morals and values. And yeah, I think anime is brilliant. When I have kids, they're gonna watch anime. It's not up for negotiation. They're gonna watch anime. You didn't expect to blow up on YouTube like you deservedly have recently. I didn't expect to blow up as fast as I have, for sure. I imagined that if my channel was gonna grow, that I would probably reach this stage within about 2 years. I can't really tell you why I decided 2 years. It was just a random time scale that I just kind of decided on. But yeah, I definitely did not expect to be here this quickly, that is for sure. Impatient. When it comes to food, yeah, absolutely. You did well in school. I had to. My parents are African, the hell? Do you think I had a choice? Do you think I had a choice? There was no, I did well in school by force by fire. If I didn't, my parents would not have allowed me into the house. A secret Spice Girls fan. There's nothing secret about it. I love the Spice Girls. I used to have a Spice Girls lunchbox in primary school. There were 3 things I was obsessed with in primary school: Spice Girls, Groovy Chick, and Britney Spears. You're dating a white man, no hate, no shade. I don't know why that would be hate or shade, but regardless, your assumption was incorrect. You don't believe in astrology, but you like it when your sign is praised. I don't believe in astrology, but I do think that star signs or zodiac signs are fun. Like, I kind of view the whole zodiac signs thing in the same way that I view people who like Harry Potter groups, if that makes sense. You know, when people are like, oh, Cancer, oh, like Enquiries or whatever, I view it in the same way as when people say things like, oh, I'm Slytherin, oh, I'm Hufflepuff. Like, I view it at a very surface level. I don't take it too seriously. I view it as quite lighthearted, but then that's because I don't know the ins and outs and the depths about astrology. I don't care if my sign is praised or insulted, to be entirely honest. It's not that deep. You had a father figure in the household. I don't know why that's making me laugh. I did. I had a very fantastic stepfather. I did have a father figure. I adore my stepdad. He's brilliant. I assume you identify as she, her. Well, you assumed incorrectly, because I actually identify as either Your Highness or Your Majesty. I don't particularly mind which one you pick, but it has to be one of those two. You probably cook some good ass food. I would say so. I mean, my boyfriend loves my food. My family love my food. And when I've cooked for my friends, they've also enjoyed my food. So I would say so. But to be fair, my mum made me cook the moment I could reach the stove. Like, the moment I was tall enough to reach the stove, She was making me cook dinner for the family and stuff. So I got a lot of practice in pretty early. So yeah, I can cook. I have no assumptions, but your videos are fun to watch. Keep up the great work. Thank you. That's really sweet. You're really good at keeping friends. I would say so. All of my friends that are still in my life now are friends who I met when I was in secondary school or when I met when I was in uni. So a lot of my friendships are like over a decade to near enough a decade old. I'm very, very picky with my friends because I don't have any of those friends who are like acquaintances. You know, like some people have two different types of friends. They have friends who they're like really deep, have like a really deep connection with, who they can talk to about anything, they can cry with them, you know, all that jazz. And then they have the friends who they just only contact when they want to go out somewhere, like when they want to go on a night out and stuff like that. I don't have the latter. Like I don't have any friends who I would only call if I wanted to go and do stuff, like if I wanted to go out or whatever. I only like being friends with people who I can have a really deep connection with. And that's probably the reason why my friendships have lasted very long, because I don't really like shallow surface level friendships. Thought you'd be this sweet girl, but the way you piss off these leftists has been fun to watch. I only piss off the woke ones. It's only the woke ones that don't like me. Which is fair enough, because I disagree with their beliefs and their views, so it's kind of inevitable that they're going to dislike me. But the centre left and the moderate leftists have no problem with me. They actually send me really nice messages on Instagram. So I actually get along with the left, just not the woke left. You're literally a regular person who's just not woke, but people assume you're a conservative. I mean, yeah. To be fair, in 2022, the bar of entry to be regarded as a conservative is probably the lowest it's ever been. Because in order for you to be deemed or perceived as a conservative, you just have to not be woke and still be in touch with reality and sanity. And that's enough to have you regarded as being conservative. Another mistake as well that woke people make is assuming that the only people who disagree with their ideology are conservatives, when that's false. There are plenty of people who identify as being on the left who also disagree with woke ideology. But anyone who disagrees with woke ideology is automatically assumed to be a conservative. But like I said anyways, all of these labels of conservative, liberal, whatever, in my opinion, are just kind of irrelevant, because who cares whether you're a conservative or whether you're a liberal? What are your ideas? You know, like, what do you believe? Because one of the things I find the most soul crushing about people on the internet is that they can watch a whole video, right? They can watch a whole video of someone sharing their perspective, sharing their opinions or whatever. And rather than write something interesting and insightful, like saying, oh, I agree with this video because of this and this, or I disagree with this video because I actually think it's this, or my perspective is a bit different, I actually think this, they'll watch a whole video and they'll be like, I feel like this video is very conservative leaning. I feel like this video is like a right-wing dog whistle. And it's just like, have you contributed anything to the conversation? Have you brought anything of substance to the discussion? No, you haven't. Because all you're obsessed about is politics, and all you're obsessed about is who's on my team and who's not on my team, rather than simply having a discussion about the ideas that the person brought forward in the video. All you're obsessed about is, are they a conservative? Are they a liberal? And I just feel like this is what's making conversation so much harder now. Because for me personally, I really couldn't care less what you identify as. I'm interested in your ideas. I'm interested in your beliefs. Like, what do you think? Like, what's your perspective? I understand that for some people, they think I'm a conservative because some of my views align with conservatives. But it's not my fault that the left have gone a bit crazy. It's not my fault that at this current moment in time, some of the conservatives are making more sense than people on the left, because the left has gone a bit deranged. It's funny because if you'd asked me this question, say 10 years ago, I would have probably had the opposite. I would have been like, no, the conservatives are a bit too wild. They're very restrictive. They're very like, you know, like, geez, let us breathe. Do you know what I mean? I prefer the left because the left are more free. They're more open-minded. Do you know what I mean? But now, in today's time, I feel like the left has become really restrictive, to be entirely honest with you, because they're now trying to censor people and trying to deplatform people. And they're also against people having opinions. Like, people should be suspended and lose their jobs and stuff for having different views. Personally, I'm just against authoritarianism, and I am kind of anti-establishment. Like, I don't like having the establishment impose on people civil liberties. And I will always go against the establishment. And currently, in this moment in time, the left are the establishment, which is why it might come across as though I'm conservative or whatever, because I criticize them the most, because they are the establishment. They're the ones imposing things on people and limiting people's freedoms in the process. Like, a comedian should be allowed to make a ha-ha without losing his job. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but anyways, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much to the people who submitted their assumptions to me on Instagram. I really hope you enjoyed this video and maybe got to know a bit more about me. Thank you very much for giving me your time today, and I will see you in my next video.